welcome to Sarah's Stampin' Retreat. Today I've got another 10 ways with video, so I'm going to show you 10 ways to make the most of your really pretty pattern papers. And this one's going to work best for either something where you can fussy cut it out toppers like what I've done today, or one where you've got coordinating toppers that can go with it, or if you want to make your own toppers. So I'm going to use this really pretty Let's Celebrate first edition pattern paper pack. And I'll just take you through the pack and then we'll move on to making the cards. I've taken some of the pages out, but you get 3 of each sheet. So you've got these. This is actually one of my favourite patterns. I really love this, and it's got the gold foil on it. You've got these lovely balloons with the gold foil on as well. We've got all of these really pretty cakes, which is really nice because you've kind of got some things in here that are a bit more childlike, but I think these are really nice on an adult's card. And they've got like a really nice shine to the candle tops. And you've got this nice glitter pattern. We've got this sparkly ice cream sheet. These really cute dogs. We've got these cute pandas as well. And we've got some fun presents and party hats. This really pretty party hats paper. And now we're on to double-sided. So all the ones that we've done up to this point have been single-sided designs. Now we're on to double-sided. So you can see that's got that stripe on the back. Then we've got these love hearts with this little pattern on the back. We've got these flowers, which I really like this pattern. It's really pretty. The triangles on the back. We've got the bouquets of flowers with this pretty pattern on the back. We've got this with the bunting on the back. We've got stripes, which I think are always useful, with the flowers on the back. We've got these fun flamingos with this cute pattern on the back. And then we've got the candles with this pattern on the back. So you can see there's a really nice mix there of quite kind of childlike imagery and prints, and then some kind of more pretty adult style prints, but they all kind of mix together really nicely. So for this first card, I've cut a piece of the stripy paper the same size as my card blank, and then I've cut a piece of pink cardstock the same size, and then I've used a rectangle die to cut a piece out of the middle so that I've got this frame. And I'm going to hot foil all of the sentiments that I'm using today. But obviously if you don't have a hot foil machine, you can always add gold with something like embossing powder or a pre-made sentiment. So for this one, I want to hot foil it at the bottom of this frame, and I'm just going to use this Sending Birthday Wishes from this Spellbinder set. I'm not sure if this is still available, but if it is, then I'll link it below. It's one of my most used sets. I'm guessing everyone's going to kind of probably have a lot of sentiments that they can use at home. So then this one's going to be a really simple card. I'm just going to glue this piece of pattern paper onto my card front. So then I've got that hot foiled on there, and that's come out really nicely. So then I'm going to use foam tape on the back of the frame. So I think this is the fun thing about a paper pack like this, where you've got loads of things that you can kind of fussy cut, is that you can make some really cool cards without having to like add too much to the pack. So obviously we've added some cardstock on our sentiment, then we've got a really fun card. You could even take this one step further and put some acetate behind there and make it into a fun shaker card as well. So then for this next card, I've got this paper which I really love, and I'm going to create a little aperture so that I can put my hot foiled sentiment into it. So I'm going to cut out this set of triangles here, and to do that I'm going to use my craft knife and a metal ruler. So then we've got this aperture. So then I've got this card, which is a UK A6 card, so that's 4 1/8 by 5 7/8 inches. And this piece of paper is 1/4 inch smaller than that. So I'm just going to place that where I want it on here. And the thanks that I'm using for this one is for this Be Bold Glimmer Sentiments set from Spellbinders. Anyone who's been following me for a while will have seen me use this loads of times. This is kind of one I come to again and again. And I want to line that up in there. And then I can take that in place and then pull off this piece. So I'm going to hot foil straight onto that card front. And then while that's hot foiling, I'm just going to cut apart these triangles that I've just cut out of the middle of that. So then we've got that thanks on there. So then we can glue this piece on. And then I'm going to take these spare ones, triangles that we cut up. I'm going to add foam pads to the back. And then I'm going to pop them up around that thanks. I'm actually just going to pop up those three. I'm not going to do them all. And then we've got that really cute card, and I think it's really simple, but it's really fun and pretty as well. So then for my next card, I've got a slimline card that measures 8.5 by 3.5 inches, and then both of these pieces of paper 1/4 of an inch smaller than that. So I'm going to tear this green and blue one. I'm going to tear it towards me so that we get this nice white torn edge. So then for most of the rest of my cards today, I've used this Syberia Designs Celebration Sentiments hot foil plate. And I really like this because all the sentiments are on one plate, and then you can cut it out with this thin stripes cover die, and that's really cool too, because I've used that just with strips of cardstock and things to cut out stripes. So it goes with that, but you can use it on its own as well. I really like this because it's loads of really useful sentiments like happy birthday, happy anniversary, hope your day is amazing, happy cake day, have a sweet birthday, congratulations, celebrating you, just lots of things that are really usable. So I'm going to use this happy birthday to you sentiment for this one. So I'm just going to glue down this piece of stripy paper. And I really like doing this with the kind of layering papers up, because you kind of automatically get this kind of scene for your dogs to walk along. And I particularly like the torn edge on this because the white adds that nice border between the two papers and stops them from kind of getting lost in each other. And obviously you can use this again, and you can also, you could make 2 of these cards and just tear it again for the bottom of the other card, so that other piece won't go to waste. So then I'm going to add a foam strip behind my sentiment. I'm going to add that towards the bottom of my card. And then I'm going to add some foam pads behind these dogs as well. These dogs I've just cut from the pack. Then we've got that card, which is really quick and simple, but really fun. So I'm going to pull my paper trimmer in for this next card. I've got a 4.25 by 5.5 inch piece of this orange cardstock, and I'm going to pop that in at 3/4 of an inch. And I'm going to cut that end off, but I'm going to keep that end. Then I'm going to cut another inch off. So then I've got these 5.5 inch strips of gold cardstock, and I'm going to pop one just under here, and then the other one, this piece that we've saved here, I'm going to put it just under there. So the glue's going on the back, and then this is going on here. So then what I'm going to do is add some foam strips behind here and behind here, and then what I'm going to do is just add this here So this is just a strip of paper from the pack, and then I'm going to close that on here, and then I'm going to add this on. I'm going to make sure that this lines up with the bottom of the card. So for this card, I'm going to go with this "Hope Your Day is Amazing" sentiment from that same Syberia Designs set. I did it in gold onto a couple of different colours, like the main colours that I'm using for this set of cards. And obviously all the strips come out the same length because I die cut them with that die, but then I just chop the ends off when I want to cut them down. So I've got this really cute cycling flamingo for this. Actually, I think that sentiment's a bit long. I'm going to save that for a different one and use different sentiment. So I think I'll just go with a simple happy birthday. And I'll pop that up on some foam. And then I'm going to add a bit of glue to my flamingo. I'm just adding it to the top and the bottom. So then I'm going to add on 3 little gems. Then there's that card done. So then for this next card, I'm going to create an acetate card. So then if you've been watching some of the acetate cards that I've been doing recently, you'll have seen me using these sticky dots a lot. And these sticky dots are really good for acetate cards because they cover your paper with sticky dots, but you can barely see it through the acetate. So I've got an A6 card blank here, and I'm just putting this strip of paper along the bottom there. And then I've got a 4.5 by 3.25 inch rectangle that I've die cut from this green cardstock. I'm going to put sticky dots on the back of that as well. And then I'll also cut one of those in white, and I'll put that on the back so that I can write my message on the back. And then I'm going to add on my fussy cut flamingo. So then I've got this "Enjoy Your Day" sentiment. And then we've got this really cute card. So then for this next card, I've used my Modern Oval layering dies from Spellbinders, and I've used the largest die to create a card blank. So that's just a normal card blank that I've overhung the edge of the die and cut out so that it opens, and then all the rest of the layering are just more dies from the set. So this is one size down from the biggest one, and then I just cut the other peachy coloured one to fit the size of the cake that I've die cut from the pack. I'm really loving this paper that's got all those gold foil triangles on. It's really cute. So then I'm going to add some foam pads behind the cake. So I'm going to glue that onto my card. And then I love this little Happy Cake Day sentiment. I thought it'd be perfect for this card. I'm just going to cut some flag ends into that. And then I'm going to pop a foam strip behind that. And pop that on there like that. And just to note as well, I cut a little bit off the back of this just so that it stands up nicely as well. So I think that's really cute. So I've got a few more little layers for my next card. So I've got another 3.5 by 8.5 inch card blank, and then I've got a piece of gold cardstock that is 1/4 inch smaller than that, which I'm going to add on. And then this piece of pattern paper is 1/8 inch smaller than my gold cardstock. So then I've got these pieces of gold cardstock that are 2 by 2.5 inches. I've got 3 of those, and I've also got 3 orange pieces to go on top of them. They're 1/8 inch smaller. So I'm just going to layer those all up. And then I've cut these flowers from the pack as well. And I'm going to add those onto my rectangles. I really like this paper pack because it's got all the kind of like fun bits like the pandas and the flamingos and things like that. But it's also got the really pretty elements like the flowers and the cakes. So you've got a lot of choice for different people. I think it's kind of suitable for all ages as well. So then I'm going to use this Enjoy Your Day sentiment. And I'm going to pop that on a foam strip again. And then I'm going to add on our little panels. So then there's that card finished. So then for this next card, I want to kind of cut the paper about. So I've got a 4 by 5¼ inch piece of this pattern paper, and I'll end up not using all of that, but I'm going to start off with that and then cut it down. So I'm cutting in 2-inch diagonals. So I'm using the grid on my mat. You can see that my paper's lined up on this grid and my ruler's going through all these diagonals. So then I can just draw a line on that diagonal, and then I'm going to move it 2 inches. And then again, I'm lining my ruler up diagonally. I'm drawing along that diagonal, and I'm keeping doing that every 2 inches. So you can see where this line ends, I'm now 2 inches down from there. Where this line ends, I'm 2 inches down from there. And then I'm going to do the same the other way. So every 2 inches, but across this way instead of across the other way. So now we've got this crisscross pattern, and I'm going to bring in my trimmer and I'm going to cut along all of those marks. And as I'm going down here, I'm just putting the pieces onto here in order so that I don't end up with a big puzzle at the end. So then here are all our cut pieces, and I'm just going to kind of move them to the sides a little, just still in their things, just to give myself a little bit of space. So this piece of pink cardstock is 4 by 5¼ inches, and I'm going to pop all of these pieces up on foam pads. Then when I add on each piece, I want to leave a gap between. So then I'm going to turn that over and just chop off all that excess. So then I think that background's so nice that you could just kind of put a die cut sentiment across it and be done with it. I've got this little panda to use on it as well. So this is going to be a really dimensional card. I'm going to add some pads behind the sentiment and the panda as well. Obviously, if you're worried about postage, then you could just glue them on. And then we can just glue this to our card front. So then we've got that, that's really sweet. So for this card, I've got an A6 acetate card blank. And I'm going to grab out my sticky dots again. And then I'm going to add this die cut rectangle into the middle of my card. And then I'll put another white one on the back afterwards to write my message on. And then I've got all of these strips of pattern paper. I'm going to start gluing those on with some of these dots as well. And these are just kind of leftover pieces of pattern paper. So now I've got this Happy Cake Day sentiment. I'm going to add that across there. And then I'm going to pop this up on some foam pads as well. So there's that card finished. And then for my final card, I've got a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch card blank. And then I've got this piece of peachy cardstock that's 1/4 inch smaller than that. And I've just heat embossed that thanks on there. You can see it's a little bit textured because the paper's textured. And then I've got that same triangle paper that I used for this card, and I've cut it up into triangles. And then I'm going to pop them up onto foam pads and create kind of a bit of a pattern across my card. Just going to use my ruler to make sure they go on straight. So then I'm going to trim the excess off the back. And then I'm going to add this onto my card front. And I think that's really pretty just with those chopped up bits of pattern paper. So let's bring in all of today's cards, and I'm going to put them out one by one because you won't be able to see them all at the end. So there's not enough space on my mat to show them all at once. So I think we've made some really fun cards today. I really hope that you've enjoyed creating them with me. I'd love to know which is your favourite. Please do let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed today's video, I'd really appreciate you clicking like below, and you can also press subscribe if you'd like to see future videos. If you press the bell button and select all, then YouTube will also notify you when I've got a new video available. All of the products that I've used for today's cards are listed in the description below, and there's also a link there to my blog where you can find a picture supply list if that helps you find what you're looking for. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope to see you again soon.